Welcome back to Fox 5's On the Hill Live this Sunday morning. You know, the Wall Street Journal has been polling for decades, and the latest poll of registered voters shows the Democrats' image is right now at the lowest level it has been in 35 years. And they say that voters trust Republicans to handle key issues over Democrats. For more on what's behind these numbers, we welcome back Aaron Zitner here again to give us the insights. First of all, good to see you again.
Good to be with you, Tom.
It's been a minute. This is fascinating stuff because for all of the controversy and the outrage that people have talked about Donald Trump and the Republicans, this polling shows that when voters look at the Democrats, they're not sure that they're seeing any plan out of them right now.
That's exactly right. That's the headline finding here. Donald Trump has a lot of political liabilities. People don't like what they're seeing on tariffs, on the economy. They like immigration. They like moving, especially criminals who are in this country illegally out. But they don't like the way he's going about it. And yet, even though he has these liabilities, the Democratic Party has not built the credibility to be a viable alternative, at least in this poll. That's what we're finding.
This has got to be a wake-up call for Democrats. So let's go through some of these. This is from the Wall Street Journal poll. It was conducted between July 16th and 20th. Do you have a favorable or unfavorable view of the Democratic Party? That's a stunning number, Aaron.
63% in our poll had an unfavorable view of the party. That is the worst image rating that we have found ever in Wall Street Journal polls, and we started asking this question in 1990. 35 years, the worst image rating ever. And some of that is because Democrats don't like their own party right now, and they'll come home in the end to the party, but that's a sign of a tarnished brand.
Political parties by nature are always going to have debates over policy, but does this point to you to be a more systemic problem, that there does not seem to be a strong direction for Democrats right now?
Well, look, coming out of a presidential election, any party that loses is leaderless for a while, and it takes until the next presidential election for the party to settle on a nominee, and that nominee defines the party. The Democrats aren't there yet, but right now, heading into the midterms, this is a party in trouble, and we see it in these questions we ask about who do you trust more to handle some of these issues.
All right, let's go to the next one. This is, are Democrats or Republicans best able to handle the following issues? Tariffs, the economy, inflation, immigration. Look, you go right down the line, though, every single one of those issues have had stark disagreements between these political parties, but yet the voters are telling you that Republicans are handling inflation better, handling immigration better, handling the economy better right now, which there are concerns that we just talked about in this broadcast a moment ago, and tariffs as well, too, have been controversial. So is it that there is a lack of alternative plan for the Democrats, or do they just think the Republicans are doing a better job on it?
Well, here's what you need to know about that chart that we just showed. In every one of those issues, well, at least immigration, inflation, tariffs, you could throw in foreign policy, voters disapprove more than approve of what they're seeing from Donald Trump. Donald Trump, the businessman president, is underwater. They don't like what they're seeing from him, and yet they trust the Republican Party more than the Democratic Party, even though they don't like the president.
And that's important to point out, because this poll isn't saying that the voters love what President Trump and the Republicans are doing. They're just not seeing anything from the Democratic Party that is leaning them in that direction.
That's right. This party, and what they're going to try to do now in the summer recess, all the members are going home, is go out to the voters and define themselves better, to say this is what the Democratic Party stands for. But so far, there have been opportunities for the Democrats to say to voters, here are the three things that the Democratic Party cares about. Here's what we would do if we regained power. And that message has not been articulated clearly enough so that voters are picking it up.
Let's talk about one of the other controversial issues, and that's been enhanced immigration enforcement. This was the question: do you favor or oppose deporting undocumented immigrants? A majority said yes. Deporting, seeing people without a judge. Or majority said no. Deporting prisoners to other countries. The Trump administration made no secret when it was coming into office that it was going to restart its enhanced immigration policy. This suggests that the root question of all of this does tend with voters to side with the Republican view on this.
The immigration is one of several issues where voters like the direction that Donald Trump is going. They want immigration enforcement, and they favor removing illegal immigrants from this country, but they don't like the way he's going about it. And the mechanisms and devices he's using to accomplish his goals, voters judge, at least in our poll, that he's going too far and he's violating norms, and they don't like the way he's going about it.
All right, let's go for probably the most important one here in the upcoming midterm elections. If the election for Congress were held today, would you vote for a Republican or a Democrat? Walk us through this. What does this mean for 2026?
Well, this is one of several bits of good news. Democrats have more motivation to vote, at least right now at this early stage. They're more likely to say, hey, I really want to get in the booth and change what I'm seeing in politics than Republicans are. And when we ask, if the election were today, who would you vote for? Democrats are ahead by 3 points. But traditionally, Democrats need to be ahead by 6 or 7 on that question in order for that question to reflect real changes once the election happens. And 8 years ago, in Trump's first term at this point, Democrats led on that question by 8 points. Today, they lead by 3.
So the Democrats have work to do, clearly, and we get about 20 seconds. But does this signal to you satisfaction with the White House or dissatisfaction with the Democrats?
It's what you said before, Tom. You nailed it. The party needs to define itself, because right now voters do not see it as a credible alternative to Donald Trump, even though they don't like what they're seeing in many cases from the president.
This is stunning polling, Aaron Zitner from the Wall Street Journal. Big wake-up call to Republicans and Democrats alike. We thank you so much for joining us here at the desk this morning.
Good to be with you.